In the world of boxing, where raw power meets refined precision, there are few names as respected and technically gifted as Sofiane Oumiha, a man who doesn't just fight with his fists but commands the ring with the elegance of a maestro and the hunger of a lion. Born in Toulouse, France, Sofiane's journey didn't begin in grand arenas or under the spotlight of flashing cameras. No, his story started in the quiet neighborhoods of southern France, in a family that taught him discipline, honor, and the art of resilience. From a young age, Sofiane had fire in his eyes, not just to fight, but to become the best. His hands were fast, but his mind was faster. He didn't punch like a street brawler, he moved like a surgeon, calculating every jab, every feint, every step. Over the years, his amateur record became legendary as he conquered rings around the globe. In 2016, the world truly took notice when he stepped onto the Olympic stage in Rio and brought home a silver medal for France. That performance wasn't just boxing, it was poetry in motion. As if the gloves were instruments and Sofiane was composing a symphony of skill. And yet, silver wasn't enough. That second-place finish haunted him, stayed with him through sleepless nights, and burned like a fire in his chest. He wasn't just competing against opponents, he was competing against destiny, against time, and against the pain of falling short of greatness. He returned, again and again, never quitting, never backing down. In 2017, 2021, and 2023, he became a triple-time world champion, an achievement that even the greatest struggled to match. But medals weren't what he truly sought. He wanted to conquer every inch of that ring until his name echoed in history. In the 2024 Paris Olympics, fighting on home soil, Sofiane stood as a symbol of national pride. The arena was electric, the crowd chanting his name like a battle cry. He fought with everything he had, heart, soul, blood, and sweat. It was a war of inches, of strategy, and of sacrifice. But once again, fate denied him the gold. He lost, in a heartbreaking split decision, standing there with tears in his eyes, silver medal once more hanging from his neck. Not as a symbol of failure, but as a reminder of unfinished business. And in that moment he made a decision to step into the professional arena, where the gloves are smaller, the rounds are longer, and the stakes are even higher. This wasn't the end of Sofiane Oumiha's story, it was just the rebirth of a warrior. In the world of boxing, where raw power meets refined precision, there are few names as respected and technically gifted as Sofiane Oumiha, a man who doesn't just fight with his fists but commands the ring with the elegance of a maestro and the hunger of a lion. Born in Toulouse, France, Sofiane's journey didn't begin in grand arenas or under the spotlight of flashing cameras. No, his story started in the quiet neighborhoods of southern France, in a family that taught him discipline, honor, and the art of resilience. From a young age, Sofiane had fire in his eyes, not just to fight, but to become the best. His hands were fast, but his mind was faster. He didn't punch like a street brawler, he moved like a surgeon, calculating every jab, every feint, every step. Over the years, his amateur record became legendary as he conquered rings around the globe. In 2016, the world truly took notice when he stepped onto the Olympic stage in Rio and brought home a silver medal for France. That performance wasn't just boxing, it was poetry in motion. As if the gloves were instruments and Sofiane was composing a symphony of skill. And yet, silver wasn't enough. That second-place finish haunted him, stayed with him through sleepless nights, and burned like a fire in his chest. He wasn't just competing against opponents, he was competing against destiny, against time, and against the pain of falling short of greatness. As he transitioned to the professional ranks, many wondered, could a masterful amateur like Oumiha survive in the brutal, unforgiving world of pro boxing, where power often overshadows precision, and the politics of the sport can bury even the most deserving talents? But Sofiane didn't enter the pro circuit with hesitation. He stepped in like a storm, calm, controlled, and ready to dominate. His first 6 professional fights proved what true fans already knew. This wasn't just another Olympian chasing legacy. This was a technician rewriting what lightweight boxing could look like. Undefeated with a 6-0 record, including 3 knockouts, he displayed a mixture of art and aggression, dancing around his opponents while delivering damage that forced corners to fold and fans to rise. But his real power isn't in his punches, it's in his purpose. Every fight he wins is a message to the world that greatness isn't always loud or flashy, sometimes it's built in silence. Over years of sweat, sacrifice, and self-discipline, Oumiha trains like a man possessed, waking up before sunrise, chasing perfection in every sparring session, shadowboxing his demons until they vanish in the rhythm of his movement. His coaches speak of him like a myth, someone who studies his opponents not just to win, but to understand them, to outthink them, to dismantle them round by round. And now on August 8th, the stage is set for one of the most anticipated showdowns in the lightweight division, as he faces the dangerous Francisco Fonseca, a fighter with knockout power and veteran experience. For Sofiane, this is more than a fight, it's a statement. It's a test of everything he's built, everything he's lost, and everything he dreams to become. This isn't just France versus Nicaragua. This is the brain versus the brawler, the artist versus the aggressor. And for the millions who have followed Umeiha's journey from his humble beginnings to Olympic heartbreaks, to the blood and brilliance of the professional ring, they know one thing for sure. Sofiane doesn't just fight to win, he fights to transcend. Whether he walks out with his hands raised or bruised and battered, one thing is certain. When Sofiane Oumiha steps into that ring, boxing becomes more than a sport. It becomes a legacy written in heartbeats, footsteps, and the silence between two punches. Watch closely, because this man isn't just chasing victory, he's chasing immortality. In the unforgiving world of boxing, where every punch carries the weight of sacrifice, and every round is a test of survival, Francisco Fonseca has carved his name not with hype or headlines, but with raw grit, relentless heart, and unshakable perseverance. Born in the small town of El Rama, Nicaragua, Fonseca's journey didn't begin in gold-lined gyms or under the mentorship of millionaire trainers. His ring was the dusty streets of a humble town, his gloves stitched together by dreams too big for his surroundings. From a young age, he fought not for fame but for survival. Boxing wasn't a choice, it was an escape, a mission, a destiny. Every day was a fight against poverty, against being forgotten, against the silence that consumes thousands of young talents in overlooked nations. And yet, from those rugged beginnings emerged a warrior. Fonseca turned professional in 2013 and built an impressive early record, rising through the ranks with sharp counterpunching, tight defense, and underrated knockout power. But more than his skills, it was his hunger that set him apart, a kind of hunger only a man who has known true hardship can carry into the ring. His name started circulating among boxing fans worldwide when he got the chance to face Gervonta Tank Davis in 2017 for the IBF super featherweight title. The fight was intense, electric, and explosive, though he lost by KO in the 8th round. Fonseca had taken the spotlight, showing that he wasn't just a journeyman or a filler opponent, he was a contender. He came back stronger, wiser, facing the equally dangerous Tevin Farmer in 2018 for the same title. Again he fell short, this time by unanimous decision, but even in defeat, he proved something more valuable than victory: durability, discipline, and the heart of a lion who refuses to break. He wasn't just a fighter anymore, he had become a symbol of Nicaragua's fighting spirit, a source of hope for thousands watching him from battered homes and crowded bars. His fights were now more than sport, they were personal, emotional, national. In 2019, he battled Alex Dilmagani in a thrilling contest that ended in a rare majority draw, another chapter in his book of nearly wins and always wars. But Fonseca never complained, never backed down. In 2020, he stepped into the ring with the rising star Ryan Garcia, knowing full well the risks, and was knocked out in a shocking 80 seconds. For many that would have been the end, a viral clip, a shattered dream. But for Francisco Fonseca it was just another storm to walk through. That devastating loss could have buried his name under the rubble of forgotten contenders, but instead, it lit a fire inside him. True warriors aren't defined by their flawless records, they're defined by how many times they get up. And Fonseca kept rising. He didn't fade into obscurity or run from the spotlight. He doubled down, trained harder, fought tougher opponents, and went back to the roots of who he really was. A street-born soldier molded by pain and purpose. In 2022, he proved that his spirit was still unbreakable when he delivered a brutal knockout to Franco Gutierrez and captured the WBA Federaton super featherweight title, a regional belt. Yes, but a giant symbol of his comeback. He fought with the rage of rejection and the focus of a man who knows his window is closing. In 2023, he clashed with Jora Hamazarian in a tough bout, losing on points, but again walking away with respect and lessons learned. And now, in 2024, and beyond, Fonseca fights with a new fire, not just to win but to rewrite the narrative that others tried to write for him. He enters every bout like it's a war for redemption, carrying the weight of every loss, every doubt, every moment where people said he wasn't enough. His professional record, over 30 wins, just 4 losses, and a KO rate of nearly 70%, tells the story of a man who doesn't quit. But numbers don't capture the full picture. You have to watch his eyes when he walks to the ring. You have to see how he bites down on his mouthpiece in the final rounds when his body wants to give up but his soul won't allow it. You have to feel the silence before the bell, where in his mind he's not fighting a man, he's fighting everything he's ever lived through. And now, on August 8, 2025, Fonseca steps into one of the most significant matches of his career, a battle against the ultra-skilled and undefeated Sofiane Oumiha. This fight is more than a test of styles, it's a test of stories. On one side, the Olympic silver medalist, a technician, a man of movement and precision. On the other, Fonseca forged in hardship, hardened by defeat, and hungry for redemption. This isn't just Nicaragua versus France. This is the decorated Olympian versus the hardened underdog. It's a battle of two worlds, two destinies, and only one man can rise, win or lose. Francisco Fonseca walks into that ring with the spirit of his country behind him and the scars of a lifetime inside him. He's not just fighting Oumiha, he's fighting time, doubt, critics, and the ghosts of every missed opportunity. And when the bell rings, don't just watch his hands, watch his heart. Because Fonseca isn't boxing for glory anymore. He's boxing to remind the world that real fighters never fade. They fight until there's nothing left.